From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, we're going to break down all of the September releases, and we got Shake here to talk about it with us.
Yes, sir.
This week's been a week of tent pegs and goblin eggs.
May all our forgotten gems get awesome sequels.
Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 437. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about upcoming games for September and whatnot. And we're your hosts. I'm Trey, King of Fighters fan Johnson.
I'm Jeremy, busy with Balatru and everything else, Mikowski.
I'm Jono Knitter.
And we also have a special guest this week.
I am Shake, a.k.a. Wagglefest, a.k.a. lusting for Chun-Li's inner thigh.
Don't we all? Welcome to the show, Shake. It's been a long time. It's been I think last time we talked to you on here was like December, so I'm sorry for waiting so long to have you on the show again. But I know we got a lot of big games coming out this month and next month, and I know that you're always on the cusp of the new Switch releases and all that. So I thought it'd be fun to have you on here to talk about what's coming out. And I know there's a big one that we'll all be playing in a couple weeks, that's coming out. Well, there's a couple of them this month that most of us will be playing, but most importantly, there's the one. But also, like, when we were talking on Monday, when we were playing, it's always cool to hear you break down what you've been playing and all that stuff. So that's why I wanted to bring you back on to say hello, to all the listeners and all that stuff.
Yes, to all the Nintendo mainers.
Let's see. Should we do the breakdown of the games first, or should we do the games we've been playing first?
What do you think, Shake? You call it.
I say let's do what we're playing at the moment.
All right. Yeah. Let's start off the show as we normally do and talk about games we got and games that we've been playing. Since you're our guest, why don't you start off and tell us what you've been doing?
Oh, what have I been playing? So I recently rolled credits on Prince of Persia: Lost Crown.
Nice.
It was my backlog for the greater part of the year. Fantastic Metroidvania. I mean, it was equal parts amazing and frustrating because some of those the platforming puzzles can get like real twitchy, and I just don't feel like I got the finger dexterity anymore. But incredible. Also, I've been playing Dawn of Sorrow, Castlevania from the new collection.
Dominus.
First time experiencing that.
Nice.
So that's been super cool. And actually, like, in anticipation for all of these freaking fighting game announcements, I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter, going back to the classics. So I've been playing Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Trey and our other good friend Joe kind of forced me to pull out the Hori Hayabusa arcade stick.
This is this is the one that I use. Let's see if it'll turn on. This guy right here. I don't know. Here, let me switch the camera. You can't really see it here.
Nice.
I got one of these guys.
That's cool.
It's a leverless controller. This is what I've been trying to learn with, and I've been playing it a lot lately. And practicing and whatnot. I still can't beat you, but also the timing's weird when you play online. There's seems a little laggy, but I've been trying it mostly for some of the newer stuff. Like, it works great. I just bought this booter. You have to buy this little booter thing to work with the PlayStation 5 or 4 or 5 because it has to. It's weird. It has to be like a specifically approved arcade stick for the PlayStation stuff. So you have to buy this little thing it'll say like arcade stick in the screen here, like when it's working right. And then you can play PlayStation with it. But I've been playing, I played a lot of Street Fighter 6 with it, which you have a PS5, You should buy Street Fighter 6. That game is awesome. Like, speaking of Street
I
Fighter
will.
stuff, that game
I
is
will.
very, very good. Like, highly recommended by me. I hope that we'll see, I figured like whenever Switch 2 happens or whatever, we'll get like maybe like a Street Fighter 4 or 5 and 6 or something like that. It's weird that they never put 4 on there because 4 is a PlayStation 3 game. It could easily run on Switch. Would make plenty of money if they would just put out like Ultra Street Fighter 4 or something. Just port it to it.
I agree. And also Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, I bought the first one for PlayStation 3 because I've been using this for my PS3 too. And I bought just Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for like $10 off eBay. I ordered that just because I used to have it actually, and I sold it in anticipation of getting the Ultimate MVC3, but I never did because it was on PlayStation Plus, and I got it for free, so I never bought it. And I was kind of having this PS3 fighting game renaissance thing, so I was like, hey, let's buy a new PS3 game. But yeah, you've been playing a lot of Street Fighter, all the anniversary collection stuff. There's like a lot of great games on there. You got Alpha 3 and Third Strike and multiple versions of Street Fighter 2 and all that. You said you'd been doing like drills or something. Are you practicing on there?
Oh, absolutely. I am reliving my 12-year-old self. And like when Street Fighter came, like I just used to, I had the oh my gosh, the Super Advantage joystick for the Super NES.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Right. It had the bright colors on it. It was great. And that was like how I like learned how to play Street Fighter with an arcade stick. And so now I'm like going back to the basics. I will go into training and I will just like do dragon punches just by sound. I will close my eyes, nerd out, and just like, can I do consecutive dragon punches just to get reacclimated with using a joystick? So that's been fun.
Which one are you using for your joystick?
The Hori. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can actually. The Hori Hayabusa is. Ooh, here is the box. Is actually just sitting on the floor.
That's a large box.
Okay, I've seen that one.
It is a big tabletop.
How much did that cost? I've seen. I mean, fight sticks are nothing. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like, well, I have the Hot 42, this is like a $50 one just because I wanted to try it. But like the hitbox ones that are supposedly the ones that people want, they're like fucking $400. Like, no joke. They're selling these like fighting sticks for like $375. I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's like the supposed like best one is like the hitbox leverless or whatever. But I know some of these fighting sticks can be like $100, $200, depending on like what you're getting. Like what I would hope that the Hori one wasn't too bad, like what it ended up at.
Yeah, man. Well, I will say this. I have an aggressively kind friend that I've known forever since high school. And he actually gifted that to me because he was upgrading to the newer version of that arcade stick. And because he didn't have the need for it, he's like, here, have it.
Wow.
But I definitely, he's a fantastic friend. Like one of my best friends, actually. So shout out to him, Brooklyn Wolf. And he's definitely like an incredible, like he collects all sorts of stuff, like premium action figures, all like the high end joints. But yeah, man, super thankful. And I know it's an expensive stick. It's got to be like 200.
Yeah, it's nice. You could have quickly, sold that and made a quick 100 at least. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, we joke around, and I often say that he's just aggressively kind.
Oh yeah, I would just wanted to see if I could find, the one that looks like that you have. It's selling like for $225 on Amazon right now. So it's not. Yeah, it looks big too.
Yeah, it's a pretty big arcade stick. Definitely tabletop.
I guess if fighting games are what you do, like it kind of makes sense to be set up as good as you can.
It's kind of like getting a good instrument,
Oh, for sure.
Thing.
I mean, I've said it before. Yeah, fighting sticks it's an investment, but it's like, if you want, if it's, if you're into it, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it, so. But yeah, they can be up there, multiple hundreds. You were the other night we were talking about the Castlevania collection, the Dominus collection, and you were comparing it to Prince of Persia, which I thought was pretty cool. If you remember that, what you were saying about that.
Oh yeah, man. It's just interesting playing the Dominus collection and like it's funny because it's a DS game and like going back to an older Metroidvania after you've played a new one, and Prince of Persia is all about movement. Like it is all about like almost rhythmic like movement, and Castlevania is just a tad slower. So it was taking me a little while to get adjusted. But the game is so dope. At this point, like I'm only maybe 2 or 3 hours in, but Dawn of Sorrow has its teeth in me. I'm kind of caught into the story. And also, I'm just trying to unlock all of the power ups. I recently got the double jump, and I'm like, thank goodness.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't remember how far you got into it. I just I played it a little bit just to try it out, but I haven't really done a whole lot with it. I got far enough to where you can do the thing where you can break ice with your finger, but you got to do it with the right stick. Like that's about as far as I got. You got to do it with the right stick now. Well, I guess if you're playing handheld, you could still use a touchscreen. But yeah, that's kind of how they've adapted that. It's just using the right stick. Did you ever own any of those original DS games by chance? The Castlevania ones?
So the funny thing is, this is my first time playing the series. I didn't own a DS. Like that was just a console that I completely like skipped over.
Oh, damn. One of the highest selling Nintendo systems is the DS. It's up there, like for success rate or whatever.
Oh, for sure. And I know it had an incredible library, but I had already kind of decided that I'm not really into handhelds like that. Like after the GBA, I was like, I'm good. I did end up getting a 3DS because of Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
But the entire DS generation, I completely missed. So all of the gems that came out, like I remember when the Mario game came out, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a new 2D Mario. Like I lost my mind. Like that was one of the things that made me consider getting one. So this is all a new experience for me.
Yeah, I would say, most people would say like that's the last of the great Castlevania, really. Like that's the end of Castlevania. Like after Order of Ecclesia, like we didn't really get anything. I mean, we got like there was like those 3D ones that were kind of like God of War that weren't really great. And then there was also one on 3DS that was made by the people who did the Metroid stuff later, who did like Dread and Samus Returns remastered, but that wasn't very good. But like as far as like the Metroidvania, like almost RPG Castlevania stuff, like this is like the end. That was the end of it, So it's like at least we have it available and it's not just locked on DS now. Now you can get it. Now you can get it elsewhere and play it. Because I only played Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruin, but I have I loved Dawn of Sorrow. I don't remember how far I got through Portrait of Ruin, but I never had Order of Ecclesia. So it's really cool to see him on there.
That was a good one.
Well, hopefully we can get more DS games. Like this is showing it can be done.
Yeah, hopefully this is the
first,
like opening the floodgates for all the DS games. Because I would love to see more of that stuff in there. Isn't DS isn't that like the highest selling Nintendo system still? Like as far as like did Switch ever top the DS sales?
I think it did because it's about to pass the PS2. It's the news that I keep hearing. So I think Switch has passed the DS.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think it had ever passed the.
I feel like a PS2. Are you sure DS didn't outsell the PS2 because it wouldn't be considered in the same like category? I wouldn't think. Like a console versus a handheld would still be different things in that generation.
I mean, it's a hybrid though.
Oh, maybe.
I thought they were just. I don't know. I don't know about the DS. The amount of DSs sold versus PlayStation 2. I thought PS2 was still higher. But I was just talking about just sales in general, like whether because what's up?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was doing some research in the background, and Switch is about 9 million off from the DS. The DS has sold 154 million. Switch is at 143.
Yeah, I thought it hadn't crossed it yet.
And PS2 is at 160. So you were right, Trey.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought PS2 was the highest, and DS was below that, and Switch hadn't reached
that is nuts considering
either
how
of
many
those levels.
DSs there were.
Yeah, I mean, there's different Switches too, and I guess there's different PlayStation 2s also with the Slims and the, there were different models that came out, but it wasn't like handheld as to where like you might have like 5 per household or whatever, like that sort of thing. But we did it. We did a Patreon episode where we did like our favorite Nintendo consoles, and we went through it like by amount that were sold, and it was like. I didn't realize like how low like the NES sales were. Like the Super Nintendo even was pretty low, like back then, And yeah, the number one Nintendo system is the DS. It's the Nintendo DS is like the highest selling one. I just didn't believe it. I was like, oh shit, So that's where they still got to break that. But yeah, there's a lot of really, really good games on there. So hopefully they'll just be bringing those over. We were talking on Monday about, and I kind of felt like this too after watching the Direct. Like I know there's a Switch 2 on the horizon, but some of that stuff you kind of feel like, they probably could just say like, you know what, we're not doing any more systems and just keep putting like old games on there and they'd be fine. They'd be fine for years and years and years on end, If they just keep like bringing like Fighting Collection after Fighting Collection to Switch, they'd probably be pretty comfortable just saying, this is it. This is all we're doing,
But honestly, I agree. I think that a lot of folks want a new Switch, and I get it. Like, it makes sense. We've been playing the Switch for 7 years. But if there's anything that I came out of the June Direct and this indie and partner showcase saying is that, goodness gracious, the Switch has a hell of a lot of life in it, right? Because we've got Brothership. They announced Echoes of Wisdom, which is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They've got Jamboree. And that's first party. Like, that's Nintendo first party. And there was a bunch of other stuff that I think will probably sell well, like Epic Mickey's Rebrushed. And I think that there were a ton of games on the indies. And in fact, the MVC thing in the June Direct, that was a big moment.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, announcing that on a Nintendo Direct even.
Yeah, to show it in a Nintendo Direct, and like whatever the partnership that Nintendo and Capcom have going right now is incredible because they're like showing off all of the things that are getting all of the fighting game community just super excited. But even to show off the fighting game or the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 in this newest Direct, I think a lot of those other I can't even remember the name of the games that like caught me by surprise. There's the new Rune Factory that looks like an action.
Oh yeah, Alzuma.
Like an anime action game. I was like, what in the world? I was excited about that. And even at PAX, Arc System announced and dropped the trailer for Guilty Gear Strive, which is coming out in January.
Yeah.
So we're still getting pretty big ports, big games. I'm like, I would not be surprised, as much as everyone is speculating that the Switch 2 is going to be shown later this month. And I'm like, Nintendo could probably hold off until next holiday.
They might. I mean, they might. Who knows?
Easily.
I mean, yeah, looking at especially, on the last Direct we saw, that they're showing stuff for 2025, like, through, like, spring. It's like, it's like, well, if they really wanted to, they could just stop here and be like, yeah, this will be what I have, and we'll just put every fighting game from every system up till now or whatever on there, But then at the same time, like I was saying before, I'd love to see I'd love to see Switch 2 with like all these fighting games that I can't play. I want like a Switch 2 with like Street Fighter 6 and like Tekken 8 and like King of Fighters 15 and all this stuff that isn't on there. Would be great to see that right out of the gate. Like Wii U, like how Wii U had Tekken Tag Tournament like right off the bat, like something like that. Throw some fighting games to there that aren't on the Switch yet. I would like to see that, but yeah, they are doing all right with what they're having there.
Jake, you alluded to it just now, but some news came out since you just mentioned it there, that there's more rumors that there's going to be a Switch 2 reveal this month.
Oh, wow.
This is
I saw that.
Not news as of like maybe 2 hours ago or something.
I saw it this morning, and then I clicked on it, and the link was like, no link found. But yeah, no, and then you reposted it on the Slack. But yeah, that's the new thing. It's like, oh no, September. We're going to see something in September, early October. So, I don't know. We'll see.
It's according to GameIndustry.biz.
Yeah, they've said things before. I've heard that website talking stuff in the past.
I don't even know if it's a credible source anymore.
Yeah.
I imagine if you're GameIndustry.biz, you got to be, but
it sounds like such a made up like website. It's like I'm videogame.world.system whatever, like I don't know. It seems so generic. One of these days it's going to be like it's like Trey from NintenDomain said this and that means it's whatever, I guess that would be like a curse too. Like if you have a podcast and they constantly say whatever you say is news or whatever. That could be annoying too, I guess. But I just want one time for somebody to put that in an article that we said a thing, you know, and think that that's the future or whatever. Did you ever get to play in that the Metal Gear Solid collection that you said you were going to get? Did you end up getting that deal from Amazon?
Oh, I absolutely did. I got it on Woot for $20.
Nice.
And you know, I downloaded it, but I have not played it. It's living on my other SD card, on my secondary SD card, and I'm too lazy to switch it out to play it.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty download, like even through the physical, from what I've heard. So I want to download it on the system, and I want it to be below $30. Like that's my idea. I thought about getting it physical, but yeah, it's like, didn't you say that like it's only like you only get like the NES games or something that are actually on the cartridge? It's like the smallest games are what's on there, and you got to download all this other shit.
Yeah, it's the MSX and the NES games that are on the cart, and Metal Gear 1, 2, and Snake Eater are all downloadable, you know, so for what it's worth, I would tell you, pull the trigger. Woot might still have it for $20.
I did. I mean, Woot's pretty cool. I actually did buy I bought a Fire Emblem Engage from them for like $30 or something like that for a pretty good deal. So, you know, you can get some deals out of there if you don't mind getting physicals or whatever.
Yep.
So I've done that. Is there anything else that you've been playing that you want to talk about?
Anything else that I've been playing? No. I'm just really excited for this MVC collection.
Oh yeah,
because it comes out next week. So like I've just like been playing Street Fighter a lot. A lot more than I've played probably in like the last year.
Like 8 days or something like that. I guess it is like, is it like next week? I guess so, right? Yeah. Next Thursday. Yeah, it'll be out next Thursday. So
yeah, so I'm super excited. And I'm also double dipping. I do not typically do this at all, but this is one of the rare moments where I'm like, I don't know how jammed up this license is going to be in a few years. We may never get Marvel versus Capcom, so I'm going to get the digital, but I'm also going to get the physical when it comes out in November.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with the Marvel licenses going like from one thing to another, like you never know. You know, I'm just going to get it digital and just, you know, try to hold on to it. I have I still have what was a Marvel vs. Capcom Origins for PlayStation 3. I've been playing that, which has MVC 1 and Marvel Superheroes on it. So as long as you have, you know, as long as you bought it at one point, you can still re-download it as far as they keep the PlayStation 3 store going and all that stuff. So I've been playing that version, and I had MVC 2, but I had like games shared with another person, so it was on a different account, so I couldn't get that one anymore. And I used to have it on Dreamcast, but I don't know where my disc is, and it was a burned disc, but I couldn't find it. I was trying to play it on there, but.
I gotta love the Dreamcast burn disc.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the way I played it. I mean, that was the way I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 the most, was on a Dreamcast burn disc that a friend of mine from Kentucky made for me. And that was and that was how I played it. It was on a burn disc. Yeah.
For people who weren't around in the Dreamcast era, you have to know how just like rampant the Dreamcast disc burning was. I remember a kid coming to my school with a full CD book. Dude, I got every game. He's like, I got every game.
Yeah.
He's showing everybody. I got who wants it? You know, it's like it was just all over the place.
You could like start selling them for like $5 each or something.
Yeah.
Here.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because wasn't it because of like they didn't do like copyright or whatever, so you could play like whatever you wanted. You didn't need like a specific boot disc or something like that. It was really easy to.
Yeah, people figured out how to put the boot loader onto the. Yeah. Eventually, it wasn't. I don't think they figured it out right away, but by the time we were playing it, they had.
Well, I remember the Saturn. That was a big thing with the Saturn too, where the Saturn didn't have like it was really easy to burn discs for that too. I guess from what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. Well, then in '99, I mean, I don't know when you guys first got emulators and all that kind of stuff, but 98, 99 was when I first got emulators and like started downloading old NES games and all that. And so I just think partly the industry wasn't ready, like in combination with the fact that it was on a GD-ROM, basically, like a CD or like a halfway to a DVD or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I think they just weren't ready and like didn't have proper copy protection or the foresight to say, hey, maybe somebody would just like copy these and load them all up to the internet.
See, I think Sony was always wise about it and had, well, wise if that's what you want to call it, but their copyright protection was that their discs were proprietary. They had like an actual burned booter on each disc, so that's how it was able. That's why you had to swap discs out with the PlayStation to get stuff to load that was burned.
I think the other thing that made it easy on the Dreamcast was that it was Dreamcast was built on Windows. It was Windows CE.
Oh.
Not that I wholly understand what that would mean, but I mean, if it's basically a little computer, that must make it easier.
I'm not sure. Well, I think they had big plans for that never came through. When it was supposed to be more of a multimedia thing.
I think it was Microsoft's first foray into console gaming was sort of testing the waters through Sega and the Dreamcast, and when the Dreamcast failed or when it looked like it was going to fail, they just said, let's do our own thing.
I always figured that. I mean, in my own headcanon, I always figured that was part of why Sega went under, was because of the ability of people like that they could easily, not buy games and play it on there. Like how easy it was to like, to not have to actually buy the software and all that. I'm sure that had something to do with it. Aside from like how much of a failure Saturn was and all that before the Dreamcast. So, but yeah, I played the most amount of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 I played was on the Dreamcast on a burn disc, and I had a lot of fun with it at the time. Just going through it and just unlocking all the characters and all that was pretty cool for what it was. And then I played the Origin stuff on the PlayStation 3, and yeah, I get my ass beat on that game so much because I'm not very good at it. But I need to learn to do those air combos. I was never good at air combos for those games, and that's a lot of it, because the computer will fucking wipe the floor with you if you don't know how to do that shit.
I'm excited for Marvel vs. Capcom as well, and I'm not going to get it because it's just too much to get this month and other expenses and stuff. But if I found an extra $60 laying around, I think it might go to Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, for sure. And when we get to our breakdown, there's like a ton of stuff coming out in September. Not to mention, Jeremy's getting married at the end of the month also, and John and I are taking a trip to Champagne for that. So, got to incorporate that into the budget and whatnot. But yeah, if you're good on your stuff, let me run through some of my things here. Are you playing Peglin, Jeremy? I heard you mention it at the beginning, right? Have you has it sunk its hooks into you?
It sunk its tent pit. I don't know. I was trying to come up with an equivalency because I was out of town for most of this week. Well, like for 4 days of it, I guess. So I thought, well, I wanted to play this game anyway, so I'm just going to get the full version on the iPhone. And yeah, I finished a run.
Yeah, me too. I think, so I've been playing it and my wife's been playing it as well. And they were saying that, and I think this is correct. I think the Switch version is harder than the phone version because we've kind of played both back and forth because I don't know why. Like, and I'm not saying don't quote me on it, but I feel like I die more on the Switch version than I do on the phone version because I have both versions. And Jess has been playing the Switch version because I do like the game share thing where I like buy it on my system and then I download it on their system so they can play it. But we can't play it at the same time. But if I'm if I'm not using my Switch or I'm using my phone, then they can play the Switch version. But I got through. So there's 3 levels, right? So you got to the end of the 3rd one, and then you got Crucible 1 or whatever after that, and then you start over again. Is what you got to, Jeremy, right?
Yeah. So
did you beat the dragon? Because I could never...
I beat the dragon.
Oh, because I can never beat the dragon, and I got to a different boss, and then that was way easier because the dragon has like 12,000 hit points, and it's like
it was insane. But I don't know, I got some kind of crazy combos at the end that did it for me. And then I still don't completely understand all the power ups, but I did get to the point where I made sure I got rid of the original balls when I could.
Yeah, the peg
replaced them with better ones. And then I upgraded everything to level 3. So literally my entire inventory was fully ranked of those. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And at the end, I wish I could record it. Like that's one thing, maybe if I had a Switch, I would have captured the video because I had a run where I hit a peg down and it had to have been at least 3 or 4 minutes before the ball was done because it just kept restarting the screen, and that's how I beat the dragon.
Yeah.
It just was this crazy long combo where I kept getting multi-ball and stuff.
It's a shame that you don't. Well, maybe in Crucible 1 you get to go past the dragon, but the dragon is like pretty much all of the pegs on that level are all like money ones. So you'll end up with like hundreds of coins to buy stuff with, but it just ends. So it's like you can't do anything with it. So hopefully, after the crystal ball. I was looking online, just kind of fucking around. I'm like, how many level sets are on Peglin? And it said there were 16, but I made it through like 3 levels, and then and then it just ended, and then it started over again. So I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, each time I've noticed it's, I get further. Usually, sometimes I'll end up facing like a mini boss that destroys me, but it's usually the mini bosses and not the bosses that take me down anymore.
Well, I mean, there's some of them like, well, I mean, this was a main boss. Like, what was it? I was playing it on the phone version. And have you gotten to like the wall? It's like a wall with a person in it, and like
I've only gotten to the wall once, and the wall killed me so quick. Well, it did not quick, but it wiped me out because it got all the way up to me.
Yeah, there's this wall that keeps moving, and once it gets to you, it does 999 damage. And you start with 100, and you can. I've gotten as high as 150 because you can unlock stuff where you can up your HP. I don't know if you see this was on the direct Shake. I don't know if you saw it. The Peglin. It basically looks like the game Peggle, which is a phone game that I played the shit out of. And it's basically kind of like
who didn't play Peggle?
Yeah. Well, John didn't apparently. John missed out on Peggle somehow.
Nope.
Didn't get to you. But no, I played it. My wife played it. Like Jeremy played it. Like I love Peggle. Like that was there's only like two mobile games that I've beat on my phone. It was Peggle and Plants vs. Zombies. That's like the only two games I ever beat on mobile. But I was trying to figure out what happened to Peggle, but I think they got bought up by Microsoft, so they probably fired everybody and canceled all their projects, and that's what happened to them. So, or no, it wasn't Microsoft; it was EA. EA bought them up. So, but probably same thing happened. They bought them and fired everybody and canceled all the projects, and that's why we never.
There were more zombie.
We never saw Peggle
or
anything. Yeah,
and there were, and then Peggle 2 they actually made, and it was like an Xbox 360 exclusive for a while.
I played it on the phone, and I remember having a ton of transactions on it. Like I couldn't get into it. Like I don't know.
Well, the Xbox version wasn't like that, so it's just a full
the phone one
ready to go game. Yeah. So I never played Peggle 2 on the phone. That's the only place I played it was on the Xbox, but it was cool. I mean, I liked it. I don't think it was as good as the first one.
Yeah,
these things rarely are, but I had a good time with it, especially multiplayer for
sure. But Peglin is definitely worth checking out if you're into like roguelites and that sort of thing. You can get it for $9 on iPhone, and it's $20 on Switch. So it's got a mad hike up, but most things get the Switch tax and all that, But it's worth it because you'll get a lot of money out of it if you want to play it on Switch.
And you know what? I was just saying in here. I was like, I have it in my notes. I was like, I wish I could see the appeal of having it on the Switch so I could play it on a much bigger screen. I'd like to see a bit more of the detail because even on my big old iPhone screen, it's still so small.
The font's really tiny too. It's kind of hard to read the
but
letters.
Then I realized I could just AirPlay it to the TV, so I can do that with the iPhone.
You could do that, yeah. I could do that too, but I bought it for the Switch first, and then found out later it was cheaper on the iPhone. Which actually I played it on the phone more than Switch, just because it's just so easy to just like pop it on, and it's like there it is. It's like you don't have to like set it up or whatever, but. I've been playing it more. It's
a great pick up and play game. Like I'll play it like on my lunch break at work or while I'm riding, like the passenger in the car on the way to camping. Shauna drove, so I played some then. But what actually, like I thought I'd play more of it when I was camping, but I was too busy.
Yeah. There were some cool things that I got. Like I had you have like one that's like the best build ever. Like when the one that I beat it with, I got this like. It's called like this Ring of Ruin or something like that. But every time you get attacked, everybody on the screen gets attacked 7 times the damage that you got hit with. So that's fucking awesome. I've actually gotten that a couple times. That's a really, really good one to have. Another thing I got was one that automatically upgrades all of the bombs. So the bombs turn red. So whenever you hit the bomb, it does 300 damage on everybody on the screen. That's fucking huge too.
Oh yeah,
that's another really big one to do. There's another one that I got where you get healed every time you refresh the board. So every time you hit the green R's, like you get an amount of health back. Like that really helped a lot too. That was another one that was really cool that I got. And of course,
I really like. So I like upgrading the lightning one because then you just hit a bunch of bombs, and because it like clears like huge chunks of pegs when it hits them.
Oh yeah, yeah. The lightning ones.
There's one I can't remember if it's like Ghost or I can't remember what it's called, but there's one that hits everything, and that one by the time I leveled it up to 3, and then I came up with some power up for the black pegs where they were like if you hit a certain amount of them, like the damage goes up or something. Something was happening at the end where I was getting these crazy multipliers. I didn't completely understand it, but that's how I beat the dragon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of them. Like I've done another really cool upgrade I got was one where hitting a refresh will also give you a critical. So like or vice versa, like if you hit a critical everything will refresh, and and you can just like stack them on top of each other. Like I was like every time it refreshes you get a heal, but you can also do one that like every time you beat a guy on the screen you get a refresh and that'll heal you also. So like you can kind of stack and do all this stuff, and it's not even that doesn't even get into like spinfection, which is like poisoning people on the screen, and Macircle is like damage, extra damage, strength or whatever. Everything is like puns off of pegs or whatnot. But yeah, the game is super huge, and thankfully I heard it mentioned a couple times. But it's going to be one of those things. It's like people are going to keep talking about it because it's going to keep going around and around and around because it's very addictive. And it's like even when you die, and I've died a bunch of times, like you still just like, all right, well let's just start all over again. And it's still just fun to just shoot the ball around and hit the pegs and all that. I got one upgrade where it'll always shoot 2 balls out, but you can't aim it. Did you get that one? Where you can only aim it 4 ways. So you can only aim it like up 2 different ways and left and right. But every time you shoot it, you get 2 balls. So if you have a multi-ball, you can shoot 2 balls, and that'll also make balls, and you can get plenty of combos from that and all that. But yeah, Peglin, awesome game. It's I'm still gonna keep playing it. It's a good editing game. Good thing to put on in the background. You don't have to pay that much attention to. But it's also nice to have a game that Jess and I are like playing at the same time, so we can like share notes and all that, and be like, oh, did you find this thing, or like what's Macircle, or what's spinfection or whatever. We've been kind of just been throwing stuff back and forth to try to get through it. But
you don't know what spinfection is. I didn't figure that out either.
It's like poisoning is what Jess was saying earlier. It's basically like it's like poisoning somebody, because every round they'll lose some life, like without them hitting them. But there's balls that have higher damage depending on how much spinfection is happening, like how many people are already poisoned. So on the screen, so you can like build it up like that too. And I guess there's different classes that you can unlock, but I haven't done that. I just got Crucible 1, which I guess is harder. But there's multiple Crucibles from what I heard. But yeah, play that game. Anybody who hasn't played it on iPhone. It's cheap. You can play through the first level for free, and actually, you can play it over and over and over again too. You can play that first level over and over and over and over again for free on iPhone if you don't buy it.
And you'll get
and you can just keep playing through the first set of levels and just do that, until you get the later stuff. But let's see what else. I bought Star Wars Battlefront 2 for PlayStation 5 because it was like $5, and I don't know. I heard about it on a podcast, and I was like, I'll try that game out. It's basically like it's got a fun first-person shooter campaign on there. And this is the one that got all the shit for all the microtransactions and all that when it came out. But you can buy it for dirt cheap now. And if you have an EA account, you get it for free, which Jeremy used to have that. So you could play that for free. But no, it looks great. Like, it looks really, really good, even on PS4. And it's an interesting idea because the campaign takes you through, like, what happened to the Empire after the second Death Star was destroyed and the Emperor's dead. And you basically play a character, like, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with the Empire now. And, like, how far are you going to go for this awful company that's pretty much destroyed but is still trying to do shit, So it's pretty cool. You start off, like, as a prisoner, and you have a robot that you get to move around that'll, like, get you out of a jail cell on a rebel ship, and then you jump from there and you're on Endor while the Death Star blows up, and you get to fly through the wreckage of Death Star 2 and all that stuff. I don't know, it looks cool. It was I was willing to check it out for really cheap, and it is, so I did that. Bakeru came out yesterday. Bakeru is Good Feel's new game. It basically looks a lot like Legend of Mystical Ninja, if anybody remembers that game from the Super Nintendo in the 64 days. I played it last night. I didn't get a whole lot of time to play it because I was working through the WART radio episode for the patrons. But that one's out there now. You can listen to it, the newest one. But I basically got as far as where I'm finally past the demo levels, because I've played 2 demos of this game. So the first 6 levels are all from the demo. So I'm like, I just want to get to a new level. I just want to get to a new level that I haven't done before. But yeah, you play like a Tanuki character that turns into a human. It's like super Japanese. It's supposed to be like a make-believe Japan world that you're in, and you fight with these drumsticks where you hit people, kind of like similar to the taiko drum beat drumsticks, like the thicker ones. And you have like a yeah, you have like a friend that wears a little miso hat that talks to you, and there's this little character that looks like a pile of poo that tells you trivia or whatever. It's a very Japanese silly game, but it's super colorful and it's fun to play, and I like it. I like it a lot so far. It was on sale. It was $5 off. It's not anymore, but it had one of those pre-order sales, so I got it for $35 instead of $40. So that wasn't bad. But what I've been doing, what I've been talking about on the show for the past couple weeks, like ever since I started, like, you know, trying to get better at fighting games and all that, I've been just trying to beat as many games as I can, like with the leverless controller. I've kind of just been running through the arcade modes of various things. So here's my list for this week. I beat Garo, Mark of the Wolves. I bought King of Fighters 13 because it was on sale. Because last week I talked about King of Fighters 30th anniversary happened like last week, and they put all of their games on sale through the 12th. And I know Joe has been, you know, asking me to get King of Fighter 13. You got it too, right, Shake? So you have it, so we can all play it and all that. But it looks beautiful too. Like the animation is incredible on it. Like the art is fantastic, and I don't know. I've always been I kind of came to SNK late. Like once they started bringing SNK stuff on Wii was like when I started getting into like, you know, Fatal Fury and like that stuff. Even though I did play Art of Fighting and World Heroes on Super Nintendo when I was a kid. Like they had ports of those, which I played. So I kind of fucked around with SNK a little bit. But I remember I bought like SNK Volume 1 that has like the first games of a bunch of their different stuff on there for Wii, and that kind of, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And of course, a big part of it was Capcom versus SNK 2 on GameCube, which I played a lot of, and seeing all the characters in there. But yeah, King of Fighters 13 looks awesome. The arcade mode kind of takes a while to get through. Like it's a really long arcade ladder to get through, but I made it through it to the credits. I bought King of Fighters 15 also for PlayStation 4 because it was on sale too. It was $15. So I got, and that's like marked down from $60. So I'm like, hey, you know, that's a great deal. So I beat that game as well. Well, I beat whatever. I went through the arcade mode, but it looks cool. It looks great on PS4 and all that stuff. And my, you know, I got the booter on there for my controller. It works great and all that. And I've been playing Street Fighter 6 because, like I was saying earlier, Street Fighter 6 is really cool. But one of the coolest things that I didn't know about, this kind of blew me away because so many games don't do this. They have all these DLC characters that you can get on the game, and you can actually rent them for free. So like they'll basically give you an hour with any DLC character that you want, and you can only rent one at a time, but it's free, and they'll let you play it for an hour. There's a little counter in the corner, so you can. So by accident, I rented Ed. He's like supposed to be this like Shadaloo experiment dude or whatever. And I just played through the arcade mode with him, and I still had like 20 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like I could rent, like, cause I really want to get like Bison and Akuma and Terry's supposed to be out soon too. And you know, there's like a $30 year pass thing that you can do where you get all the characters, or you can buy them like piecemeal for like $7 each. But it's cool that you can actually rent a character. Like, could you imagine if they did that for AEW Fight Forever? Like, they would never do that, but it'd be cool to just let you, like, just fucking try out a character for an hour and see if you like them or not, you know? Instead of throwing money into it. That kind of, like, I don't know, that kind of blew me away.
Like, I mean, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Actually, even more than Fight Forever, I think about, like, what if Nintendo did that with Smash?
Yeah, that would be nice for Smash Brothers, too, right? Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, because, yeah, I could try out I don't know, whatever characters I didn't get. I think I didn't get the dude from Kingdom Hearts, and I didn't get what's his head, the guy from Final Fantasy VII, the bad guy. I didn't get him either.
Oh, Sephiroth and Sora.
I didn't get Sephiroth or Sora, yeah, or Steve, because what the fuck do I care about Minecraft? I didn't get the Minecraft dude either.
Hey! Be careful, man! That they just released the trailer. Jack Black.
I know. Speaking of trailers for great movies, you can watch
Jason Momoa.
You can watch Borderlands on Amazon now. They dropped that pretty quick. that's digital now. You can already watch it. I mean, if you want to waste $20, you could rent it on there. I don't recommend it, but yeah, that went to digital pretty quickly. Like after like 2 weeks or something. I was surprised by how quick it showed up on there.
I mean, at this point, the real question is which had a longer life, the Borderlands movie or Concord?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck happened with Concord? Yeah, Concord was like a hero-based shooter for PlayStation 4 and 5, and it it didn't release, I guess, or it released for a second and then they're refunding everybody. What happened? I thought they were doing a whole thing with it.
Somebody pointed out online that Concordia Concord got canceled, and then like minutes later, like 20 minutes later, Nintendo put out the trailer for Brothership with Landis Concordia. Like, oh, it's back again.
Oh yeah, Mario Luigi Concordia.
Oh, they did the Kendrick and Drake thing where Drake released the song and then Kendrick came back 20 minutes later with the robot. Well, no. The thing with Concord that was really interesting is that like there was a lot of marketing muscle behind that game. Like,
yeah, it was in like the big PS5 Direct thing, right? Like during not E3 or whatever. I thought they were pushing it a lot.
They were. I mean, there's a DualSense. Is that what the PS5 controller? It's the DualSense, right?
I don't know. What's it called, Jeremy? You're the only one that has it. What's the PS5 controller called?
What's it called?
Yeah, is it called the
DualSense, right?
Yeah, DualSense.
Okay,
yeah, because it has all the extra stuff in it.
Okay, because I thought all of them were called. I was a DualShock. The old ones are DualShock. The newest.
Yeah, so those are DualShock. Yeah. So they made a Concord specific DualSense controller. Like they, they don't do that with every game. Like Astrobot has one, but like first party games don't often get special first party controllers. So the game came out and apparently like there just weren't a lot of players, and I also think when you think about like hero shooters, when you've got Apex Legends, when you've got what's the other popular one that I can't think of at the moment?
Star Wars Hunters on Switch. People are playing that game.
Star Wars
that one's free. I mean it's okay. It's an all right game. I don't mind it.
What's the big one? Oh my goodness, why can't I?
Overwatch.
Yes. So you've got Overwatch, you've got Apex Legends. All of those games are free to play, right? And I think coming out the gate, charging $40 for a hero shooter, and also Marvel Legends.
Yeah,
I mean
Marvel Rivals. Yeah, that's supposed to be good too. I've heard people talking about that.
So I think like the market is really congested. I think charging $40 is a lot for an unproven IP. And what the only fact that I truly do know is that apparently like there weren't many players.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of reports that like the game would have like under 1,000 players at a given moment, or only a couple hundred. Like it was AEW Fight Forever bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, but we had a few months on that one before it became completely empty. I think. I don't know. I did actually say on this very show that I had a hard time finding anybody online to play, like before I met all you guys from the Discord and all that. So as far as like trying to play random people, I never found anybody. I got some people on PlayStation 4 when it dropped for PS Plus. I did actually get to play some random people on that for maybe like a week or two, but then it's all like, now everybody's gone. But yeah, it was so weird that they dropped it. They just got rid of it so quick and already like refunding people about it. But whatever. Let's see. Let me do a couple more things, then I'll be done. So with the King of Fighters sale, I bought 97 just because I looked at a list and a lot of people liked that one, and that one was fun. I played through that one as well. They were like all half off. They're normally like $8. You can get them for $4, I think, through the 12th. If you want to buy like whatever, was it 94 through 2003 was like the last one or something like that, you can buy all those for $4. And there's actually a collection on PS4 which has like the first half for like, it's like selling for like $2 or whatever, which is even cheaper. But I got that. I made it through Street Fighter Alpha 3, but I did not beat Bison, but I still got credits because I forget that if you lose once with Bison, it's automatically over in Street Fighter Alpha 3. Like, I forget that that's how it, like, because you get to go to the boss, and if you lose one time, there's like a little story about how he rules the world, and there's credits and all that. So I did that twice and still didn't get through them. But Dead or Alive 5, it was available on the PlayStation, the PlayStation Plus extra stuff, which that's great too. I mean, Jeremy's talked it up a bunch of times on here. I did it. I got the premium version just so I could play Time Splitters 1 through 3 were on there. But there's a whole bunch of games you can get. Like I got Dead or Alive 5 and just played through that and just played through the arcade on that because that was free. And I always kind of like those games. I know they're always known for being like kind of, weirdly overly sexual and all that stuff.
Campy.
But I remember, I forget which one was on Dreamcast, but my friend Artie from college, he gave me like a stack of his Dreamcast games, and they weren't like burned ones. They were like just regular Dreamcast games. Because he didn't have his Dreamcast anymore or whatever. He's like, here, take these games. And I remember the Dead or Alive was in there, and I had a lot of fun with that game. Like, I remember playing it. I don't know where it is, actually. I can't find it. But whatever Dead or Alive was on Dreamcast was pretty cool. And I was like, oh, I kind of like those games. And I remember it was an early 3DS release. There was a Dead or Alive game on that had Samus in it, which was pretty cool. But I played as like Ryu Hayabushi from Ninja Gaiden. He's in there. He's a playable character. So I played through the arcade with him. And there's like a tag mode where you can tag back and forth. So it's pretty fun. And just because of my own love for SNK stuff recently, a lot because of the upcoming Capcom vs SNK and all that. I bought a few arcade collection ones just for the fun of it. I bought Art of Fighting, World Heroes, and I bought Real Bout Fatal Fury Special because supposedly that's the like second best one to Mark of the Wolves, and I wanted to play more. Wanted to play more Fatal Fury stuff, but and Art of Fighting 1 and World Heroes, I only bought those games because I loved those on Super Nintendo. But let me tell you, the arcade collection ones are hard as fuck. They are so like arcade hard, where it's almost kind of like not fair. Even if you put it on the easiest mode, they still like can read your mind. Like whenever you jump, they're automatically there kicking you in the face. Like you can't do anything. It's like, what the fuck, dude? So that kind of sucks. But I still want to get through them because I liked Art of Fighting because Art of Fighting kind of felt like a beat 'em up meets a fighting game because it had all this like extra story and different like locations that you go to, and it kind of flowed through whatever. And except you have a special meter for all your moves which go down, which kind of sucks, but whatever. And World Heroes was the game that taught me how to do a Hadouken the first time because I remember renting it, and in the manual it explained how to roll from down to forward, and I never knew how to do that. So the first time I ever did Hadouken was from World Heroes on Super Nintendo. So it taught me my first Hadouken, because World Heroes is very much a rip-off of Street Fighter, but I still thought it was pretty fun because the original one, you got like those deathmatch levels where you can fight in the burning ring and like knock them into the fire, or there's like the rings with the spikes and all that. Like, I don't know. I always thought they were fun, even though, yeah, it's obviously you got the Ryu and Ken rip-off in there, and you got like the M. Bison looking character and all these other people that, but still it's fun to fuck around with.
It's funny that you mentioned the computer cheating. I was today years old when I realized or learned as a fact that the CPU cheats in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh, I believe it. Arcade hard, like I said.
Yeah.
Especially those collections, because they give you like a ROM of the arcade, and the arcade is made to kill you and get you to put more quarters in there. So it's 100% unfair at times,
Oh my gosh. Like, I used to pride myself on being able to run through Street Fighter on a single quarter. The amount of times that I had to like continue after just fighting Blanca as my first opponent.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, what in the world is happening? But also, like, even mentioning that Art of Fighting taught you how to do the fireball. I was actually just talking to a friend, and I'm like, I really want to get my hands on the instruction manual for Street Fighter 2 on Super NES, because I feel like they actually might have had all of the special moves in the instruction booklet. Like, it showed you how to do the fireball, dragon punch. Like, I'm like, damn, I really miss instruction manuals now.
Yeah, well, there's on the arcade archives or whatever, they do have like digital manuals that have all the moves in them. Actually, not all of them. It'll have some of them, but yeah, I miss like the actual physical ones. And I have like this N64 controller box down here in my office that's just filled with manuals. So I'll have to look in there. I might have Super Street Fighter 2 manual, but I don't know. Like all the ones that I've saved over the years, I kind of just put them in a little box to look at. But there's some fun ones in there. I have like Tetris on Game Boy and like Super Mario Land and stuff like that. And what was it? When I bought Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for PlayStation 3, it was heavy because it had a really thick manual in it with all the moves in it and all that. So I mean, yeah, I miss those days when you used to actually get in there, especially like RPG ones where it would outline like the first chapter of the game or whatever. It would like give you everything you need. I think like was it I remember Final Fantasy 6/3, like that one had a really hefty manual. But that's good for me.
I miss good instruction manuals and also strategy guides. Strategy guides that would do like frame by frame breakdowns of like, different techniques. Like I was thinking about that as well, even playing like WWE 2K24. I'm like, some of the reversal windows are so small that I'm like, it would be cool to like have an old school strategy guide that showed you exactly where and when you would have to do the reversal for certain animations.
I do have I still have the Nintendo Power Street Fighter 2 Turbo strategy guide, so I could take some pictures of it and send it to you if you want to see.
I remember
it.
I had that.
The one that it has like the little animation in the corner, like when you flip the pages, it shows like a Zangief spinning through the Hadoken, or I think it was it's cool.
Nintendo used to publish their own strategy guides, and I remember they had a bunch of them. Like the first was like. It was like a Super NES kind of just encyclopedia that had a bunch of the games for Super NES and like little previews. Oh my gosh, I had the Super Mario World one. I had the Street Fighter 2. Oh my goodness. Oh, man, I think I threw all of that stuff out. Like now I just wish I had that stuff.
Yeah, I tried to keep most of my Nintendo Power stuff, especially the guides and whatnot. But yeah, I have the Street Fighter one, and I have a couple of a couple of the Donkey Kong Country ones, and I think I have a Killer Instinct one as well. And I bought they're not Nintendo Power ones, but I have a bunch of the Mortal Kombat ones too. Like Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, strategy guides and stuff like that. Like I have an arcade guide for Mortal Kombat 3, and then I have like the Super Nintendo one also. So yeah, I got a few of those things. And like was it Final Fantasy? Speaking of Final Fantasy, I have the Final Fantasy 3 strategy guide as well, the Nintendo Power one they made. So it's pretty cool. That one's like the spine's kind of broken, so it has like I put like duct tape on the side to keep it in, so keep it together. So it's not in the best shape because I've used it a lot, but or I used it a lot when I got the game. Do you want to run through your stuff real quick, Jeremy, or however long you want to run through it?
Well, I really like I said kind of at the beginning. I went camping. We left last Friday morning, so I guess I would basically like I had one day after the end of the podcast last week, and then just got back Monday. So most of my week has just been enjoying the great outdoors and some music and some friends. So it's been a good week, but the only game I really played this week was Peglin, and I'm surprised I played that as much as I did, but it's so addictive.
It is.
But yeah, like I think I was saying last week, it's just not. I probably won't have as much to say about games. I'll have plenty to say about gaming news because that's still fascinating to me. But as far as playing games, I'm going to be too busy.
Yeah, you got to put together that wedding. Well,
which is in 24 days from the time we're talking right now.
It's very close.
Yes,
I pretty much got nothing this week, so I didn't play too many games.
What's your middle name about the Yaman? What is that?
That's because Yumitaro is the name of the character from Gimmick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess we'll talk about that when we get to our releases, which will be what'll happen after the break here. So why don't we take a break and we'll come back and talk about all the games that are releasing, plus whatever news there is for the week.
Woo-hoo.
So stay tuned.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
with NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
All right, we're back from the break. Let's talk about the releases and all the releases for this month, which, man, this is a crazy month. So I just kind of put down the ones that I'm kind of interested in. Maybe not even, I'm probably only going to get like 3 out of this list. Oh, and I also, actually, before I forgot, I posted a question on our Facebook group on the NintenDomain community page and just asked what anybody was looking forward to in September, and we got a response from Joel D saying, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Grew up playing a ton of Street Fighter and the verse games in the arcade, so pumped to get that trip back down memory lane. Other than that, don't sleep on Europa. It demoed really well. I think Europa is an October release, but it's still like around the corner. So yeah, I do want to play the demo for that. I always thought it looked cool. But yeah, Joel, thanks for sending in a response to our question and all that. So yeah, September releases. Bakeru, that's the one that I was talking about earlier. That came out Tuesday of this week. But tomorrow we have Gimmick 2.
Gimmick 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is one that John, I figured you're getting this one, right, John? You'd be a bad fan if you weren't.
I'm getting this one, and actually, some late breaking news. We got a response from the developers of Gimmick 2, and we're
excellent
trying to set up an interview.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, should maybe be for next week's show. So who knows? Hopefully soon. Looks like they want to do it pretty soon. So I think for next week's show we're gonna have it.
They probably want to strike when the iron's hot, right? Since it's releasing like this week.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's coming out for $24.99. I thought it would be less, I guess, but it's
No,
whatever. It's new.
Looking at it, I knew it was going to be 25 because it's it's a premium looking game. It looks really nice. They just beautiful animation, and the original game, you can get that game on the Switch still, for $15, and so I figured this one would be 25. And there's a fantastic documentary out this week from IGN. I guess they're doing a new series of deep dive episodes. Shake your nodding your head like you've seen it.
Yep.
Did you see the Gimmick one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I didn't know that they founded Bitwave. The person who founded Bitwave did so with the intention of making Gimmick 2. Like that was the first thing that he intended to make. And he actually went out to Sunsoft, and he didn't know who had the rights, or Sunsoft still had the rights or had sold them off or whatever. But he propositioned Sunsoft, as a new company with no games to their name yet. Sunsoft basically said, no, you can't do it. It's one of our prize IPs, and you're a new developer and all that stuff. But a couple of years on, Bitwave put out some games and made a name for themselves and did a great job with the Gimmick Special Edition. And now Gimmick 2 is upon us, and it will be out by the time you're listening to this.
That's true. And I'm looking forward to your impressions of it, John. I think I don't think there's a lot of stuff on here. I'm not ready to get it yet, but I'll listen to you talk about it. So
Absolutely.
I'll be looking forward to that. And yeah, we should. Well, we after this we could try to figure out that time for that. But yeah, Gimmick 2 coming out Thursday this week. Two big ones, Bakeru and Gimmick back to back. Both ones that John and I were looking forward to. I really wanted an English translation of Bakeru because it was only in Japan for a while, and we finally got it. So go out there and get that. Get Gimmick 2 also. This one I just put on there just for fun. I don't think anybody is going to get it, but it was on the direct. Fitness Boxing featuring Hatsune Miku. It comes out on the same day as Gimmick. So yeah, and that one's like $50. That's the one with new hairstyles, right?
Miku must be getting a ton of royalties.
That's the one with the new hairstyles, right? Where you can switch your hair or whatever. Yeah.
That was so fun. Yeah, and new hairstyles. They made such a big deal about that. Like what? It's like every game because you can switch your hairstyle in every game.
Not in Fitness Boxing though. No, they didn't have that. Yeah, there's that one. And another one, big one, not for me, but for a lot of people, Ace Attorney Collection, the one that's the Miles Edgeworth one that comes out on the 6th. So that'll be out on Friday for $40. So already we got 4 pretty big games in 1 week, and not to mention the Sunsoft Collection also comes out on Friday. That's releasing for $10. I think it's $2 off, like as a pre-sale thing right now. Which I don't know if that'll be available whenever this goes out to the public, but yeah. But I wrote down the names of the games on there just because I've not heard of any of these. So the 3 games that you get with the Sunsoft Collection is The Wing of Medulla. This next one is total word salad. Firework Thrower Kantaro's 53 Stations of Tokaido. That's a whole title. And Ripple Island. There's 3 games that I've never played before.
Ripple Island.
These are games that only came out in Japan, and they were early NES games, like 1986, all of them, I think.
Yeah.
I was watching, I forget which famous YouTuber today. He did a preview of it. No, not that guy. Got the glasses.
Less racist, right?
Yeah.
PewDiePie.
Guy with glasses.
PewDiePie of shit. I mean, I never liked that guy.
He was playing this game today, and yeah, they look like the old, arcadey style games that were coming out, like first generation NES black box, that kind of thing. So that's why it's only like $9, $10.
Yeah, are these just straight up ports, or do they have like a translation and all that?
No, they're translated.
It seemed like they had a translation to them, and they had a few extra features and all that.
Cool.
I thought they looked better than NES quality. Like I thought that they didn't necessarily look like 8-bit games from what I was looking at for it. I thought they kind of looked at least like 16-bit or better or whatever. So I thought they had kind of upgraded the graphics, but I don't know.
Yeah, they were Famicom games.
But I'm just saying, like the presentation of the collection, I thought it looked better.
Aero the Acrobat. Any Aero Acrobat 2 fans out there?
Never got around the second one.
Not 2. I'm just a kamikaze squirrel type of guy.
I've always been more into Bubsy.
I guess it does look like Famicom. Well, some of it looks better. I'm just from the cutscenes or just the pictures that you can see on the Switch. But they got cool backgrounds or whatever. But yeah, some of the pictures look a little bit more animated or whatever. But yeah, I just threw that on there just because it's funny that they're doing like a new release of an old Aero the Acrobat game every month. Like last month was Aero 1 and now 2, and Zero Kamikaze Squirrel is coming out next month, so be ready for that. That's also coming out on the same day as Sunsoft Collection for $5.99. And Yars Rising, is that the sequel to Yars Revenge, right? That comes out next week.
It is.
For $29.99. That's $30.
Interesting. I'll wait for a review.
It's a remaster of the original. No, I don't know what it is.
No, it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to actually be like a sequel because they did a Yars up-res in the Atari collection.
Well, there was like a whole. I remember being in an indie world or something. Like they had a whole like the main character was like fully voiced and was like talking about like. I think she was like the voice of Bernadette from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Like I recognize her voice like from other games.
They're trying to expand the Yars universe. It's more. It looks like a cinematic platformer or something like that, to my recollection. It's a different type of gameplay than the original Yars Revenge.
So that one's coming out for $30. Rugrats.
I'm interested in Rugrats. I mean, I was a Rugrats fan back then. This looks kind of cool. I appreciate that they like did the the graphics make it look like the show, and then the NES graphics too. You can switch back and forth. That's cool.
Is this an actual game that was released, or is it?
No, it was not released. It's as they've been saying, like a game that should have been released, but somehow it never was. There wasn't a Rugrats game back then.
Oh, I thought there was one. I thought I had seen Rugrats games, like maybe for later systems.
Maybe I think there was one on PlayStation.
I thought maybe there was a 64 one. I don't know. But regardless, yeah, I don't. I remember Rugrats, but I never played any games. But I mean, the animations on this looks cool, and it's cool that you can like downgrade it and make it look like a NES game. That's interesting.
This will definitely go on my wish list, and I'll wait for a review.
I remember watching Rugrats when I was a kid, but one thing I remember reading recently was like finding out the ages of the parents, and like the oldest one is like 35 or something.
Oh, that makes me feel old. I'm older than Stu Pickles. Come on.
You're older than Stu.
I mean, we're all older than Homer now, right? Because isn't he like 39 or something?
He's 39.
Yeah, we had a whole thing about that. There's a bunch of other Rugrats games, but I don't know. Like same like the He-Man one. There's like a bunch of like Game Boy Advance ones and shit like that. I knew there were other ones. Never played any of them. Game Boy Color even. But yeah, this is a new one. I don't know. I threw it on there. It's called Rugrats Adventures in Game Land. It's coming out for $25, and I didn't put a release date on it, but it's probably in between yours and this next game. Lollipop Chainsaw, if you remember that game, written by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame and Tromeo and Juliet and Terra Firma.
Scooby-Doo.
He got Troma is start with Troma movies, the guys who made the Toxic Avenger and that sort of thing. And I always wanted to play this game because I liked James Gunn's Troma work and beyond or whatever. So I was always interested in
his thoughts on this game now that he is what's his title, president of DC.
Well, now he's the Kevin Feige of DC. Yeah, I totally forgot that he's doing all that shit now. Now he's doing a fucking Superman movie and all this other shit. So yeah, good for him. But I curious. I mean, I don't know about Lollipop Chainsaw. It has a really weird price on it. This is like not even with the discount. It's $44.99. Like that's the price. It's $45.
Thanks for the $15 discount for 15-year-old game. That makes sense.
I guess. I mean, it's a repop version, and interestingly, the remastered version took all the blood out. So I want to play the original version. I want the blood version. Like I don't want the no blood version. That seems weird. But I'm not getting it because it's on the same week as another big thing, which we'll get to, sure we talked about. But that another thing coming out on the same day next week, Wild Bastards, which is actually the sequel to Void Bastards, which was made by some of the people who made BioShock, which actually have Void Bastards, and it's a first-person roguelike sci-fi adventure game, which is pretty cool. And I think Wild Bastards is more like built in like a sci-fi western world or whatever. But it was reviewed really well for Void Bastards, so Wild Bastards should be good too. That's $35. There's this one that had got announced but forgot about it. Jackbox Naughty Pack coming out on the 12th as well. Coming out for $21.69. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect.
And here's the games that are in here. They really don't they don't seem that exciting. Faking It All Night, Dirty Drawful, and Let Me Finish. Those are the three games that you get.
3 games? That's it?
3 games, yes. 3 games for the Jackbox Naughty Pack for $20. That's expensive for 3 games.
Isn't Drawful already dirty?
You're getting screwed.
I mean, well, Drawful you draw whatever, but this one is specifically like, I don't know, draw penis or something like that. I don't know. Like it's specifically like, let's be naughty or whatever. But the other games are like, I don't know, they're kind of like talkie games or what. I mean, they don't seem like the games that I normally like to play on Jackbox games. So
you can make all the other Jackbox games dirty for free.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the time they are. If you play Jackbox with adults, of course you're going to make it like, be like not PG rated.
You're trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, so you're gonna add your own like twist to it. But it's kind of weird. Yeah, Dirty Drawful, that makes sense. But I'm surprised there isn't like a Dirty Quiplash or something. Like, one of the ones that's like really popular. Like, why not? Why these other ones that I haven't heard of? I don't know. And I looked through the.
What's the one where you're guessing questions about each other?
Oh, that's part of Fibbage. Are you talking about Fibbage?
Yeah, they should have like sexual fibbage.
Well, Fibbage is like
Just really call each other out.
Fibbage is like my favorite. Was like my favorite series on there. Like that one's really good. But there's Fibbage All About You. It's the one where it's like where you just write stuff about the people that are in the room and all that, which can be really fun. But yeah, you can make it super awkward if you want it to be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, they should make a Jackbox version of Have I Ever or whatever, that one, you know, like, or Never Have I Ever or whatever. Put that in there. But yeah, that's coming out in case you forgot about it. But the big one we've already talked about, and this is the one that I'm getting, is Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, coming out on the 12th for $50. Yeah, I'm getting that one. Let's do it. I'm sure we'll be playing it on our Twitch stream, so check that out.
I really want to get the next one, Plucky Squire.
So do I.
I think it's
So Plucky Squire has a price. We last week we said we hadn't seen it yet, and now it's coming out at $30. It's coming out 5 days after Marvel Fighting Collection.
it's fair.
Yeah, I really want this gun. It looks really good, but it's like it just kind of depends on where my money situation is at that time. Because as of right now, I've kind of only dedicated to 3 releases on there, and one of them I've already paid for, thankfully. So I miss the days when you could pre-order games like way in advance, and it would take all your money out. Do you remember that? At the very beginning of the Switch, you could actually pre-order a game that was coming out like next year, and it would take all your money out then, so you could like budget everything better. Now it won't take your money out until the week before it comes out. It was like this for the first five years or whatever of Switch. Like you could automatically buy it and it would take all your money out, and I'd be like, oh cool, I paid for that one. But yeah, now they switched it to where, so now you have time to say you don't want it if you see like early reviews or something like that was the idea for that. But it would be nice because it would help me like, budget my stuff better. But yeah, Plucky Squire 917. I'm really interested to see what the reviews say about that.
I think it's going to be awesome. They've had previews. They had previews starting like 2 weeks ago. And first of all, if they allow everyone to publish previews, that means they're very confident the game is excellent. And all the previews were just like glowing. I think this is going to be 9s to 10s all over the place.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, it looks great, but at the same time, I've seen people give glowing previews and then give it a 6 when it comes out. So I've seen that happen many times as well. So it depends on what they actually show you, right, to what you can actually preview. And then if you play it later and you're like, oh, there's this end part that sucks. Karate Kid Street Rumble, another beat 'em up coming out on the 20th of September.
20 for $40. That's a little pricey for a beat 'em up these days. I think they better be doing something pretty special.
They better let you play through every episode of the Netflix series for that.
Yeah.
It's like 300 episodes or something like that.
Not quite that. I mean, there's 5 seasons.
Yeah, well, I guess they don't make that many episodes for shows anymore. Now they only get 10 episodes per season. I miss the 25 episodes per season, the glory days of TV back in the day. Now you're lucky if you get 10.
Yeah, but TV got more expensive, of course, and better quality, and so
yeah,
that's why.
Well, also less they have to pay less money for it. Karate Kid Street Rumble. I'm interested to see how it is, but yeah, not for $40.
I'm interested too, but I think I'm going to wait for $20 on that one. I like the show a lot. I just actually caught up on the latest season, the latest couple of episodes. So I like the show a lot, and this has my interest. But yeah, $40 is kind of way too much.
I'm wondering. I mean, is this on the show still? Because they did have one. Oh no, this one. I think this one is actually the movies. Yeah,
I think it is the movies too, though.
Yeah, this is based around the 80s movies. But there is a Karate Kid game out already that I actually have that is about the show, which was okay. I mean, I got it on sale. But let's see what else. What else do we got in here?
Matchbox Driving Adventures.
Matchbox Driving Adventures. Actually, I thought this one looked kind of cool, but also like $40 in this month is a little steep for me. But I'm really interested to see what people think about it because I like the way it looked from what I saw of the videos and whatnot of it. And I don't know, what was it?
Look kind of like Beetle Racing Adventure?
The Hot Wheels, the Hot Wheels game was really cool, so I mean, if it could be like that, then sure. But it's not.
Did it look
on sale
like,
right? By the way, super cheap.
What's up? Oh, it'll be on sale right away.
Yeah, both of them are on sale right now. The Hot Wheels games, like the first one is like $5, and the sequel I think is like $15 on the eShop.
Oh, nice. I played the first one, and I liked the first one a lot.
Looks pretty good.
But the Matchbox game looks, it does kind of look Beetle Adventure like, because you're going through larger than life areas, like that sort of thing. So it kind of looks like, you're going on a crazy adventure. But it also kind of looks like an open world-ish thing. So that's what I'm kind of interested in, like the racing stuff. But what else goes with that? So yeah.
Beyond Galaxy Land seemed like something you would like, Trey. That's one that said.
Oh, you
like
skipped one.
Did I?
Don't forget about Epic.
Yep.
Yeah, Epic Mickey comes out on the 24th. No price for that one yet, which is weird. It still doesn't show it on the eShop, but you can download a demo now if you want to play it. I still haven't played the demo, but you can get the demo for free and check it out. Yeah, Epic Mickey, that one's coming out. Beyond Galaxy Land comes out on the 24th for $18. That's the one that's supposed to be a mixture of Star Wars and Final Fantasy. It's like I feel like I've heard that before, but I don't know. We'll see. This other one, Bloomtown, I had never even heard of, and they just mentioned it on Axe of the Blood God like just this week. And holy shit, like look at this game. Like the sprite artwork looks incredible. And I'm like, and this one is already kind of almost on my list. I mean, maybe. Well, like I said, we'll see how my budget's going, but I thought this game looked amazing. Like just like the art design of it looked great. Like I watched a video of it and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks really cool. So we'll see. That one's $25. It's coming out on the same day as Beyond Galaxy Land, but I'm more interested in this one than the Beyond Galaxy Land one. Because yeah, it's kind of sort of has like a little bit of an Earthbound feel to it, not like the same like graphical style, but the way these like stores are presented, they look like they did in Earthbound. And there's a picture of them being inside of the store called The Good Place that totally kind of looks like Stardew Valley, but kind of looks like the same way it'd be laid out for Earthbound. But yeah, watch the video of it. I think the art style looks really cool. That's Bloomtown coming out for $25 on the 24th of September. And of course the big one for the month, and I think most of us here are getting it. I mean, we'll all get it eventually. But that's Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And I did watch a preview of it today. I watched Switch Up's preview of it. And yeah, that game's looking pretty good. It's got actual dungeons in it this time, so we're having more traditional Zelda stuff in there. And it kind of sucks that you have to like summon the spirit of Link to do it, but you can play the game like Link if you want. You can play with a sword and a shield. Even though I don't understand why Zelda couldn't just like pick up a sword and a shield and just fight with it. I've seen her do it in other games. She's done it plenty of times. You don't need to summon the spirit of Link to do it. But anyway, yeah, you can do that in there. But it looks promising from what I've seen of it. Obviously, I mean, it's a Nintendo game. It's a top-down Zelda. I'm very excited about it. So
how crazy it is that we're getting 2 Zelda games 2 years in a row. When's the last time that happened?
How crazy is it that we're getting a Zelda game where you can play as actual Zelda? A lot of people thought this would never happen. And, I mean, since the CD, but those don't count.
And on the heels of
those aren't
the
real
Peach
games.
game.
Yeah, after the Peach game, too. Hopefully this is much better than
they're covering their bases.
No, I'm really excited about this one. I'm definitely getting Echoes of Wisdom. I'm gonna do the old Nintendo voucher. Throw down $100 for that and Mario Party Jamboree, which I'm 100%
Marty Party.
And
Party.
If you end up getting Mario Party shaken, if you want to play online, let me know. I'll be down. You should stream it sometime.
Trey, do you have the Link's Awakening remake?
I do. Yeah.
Yep.
I do have the Link's
You
Awakening.
said you never beat it, right?
I did not beat it. No, I did not get all the way through it.
Maybe if you're looking for something to do between now and then.
Oh, I got plenty to do. Trust me, I got plenty of games that it's not like I'm just like I got nothing to play or something like that. I've been trying to play through every fighting game that I have with the leverless controller. It's a pretty big ask. Plus, I got a whole bunch of games that I bought that I still haven't beaten yet. Plus all the direct ones. But yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. Very excited.
I hope Echoes of Wisdom is better than that game.
Oh, than the Link's Awakening remake?
Yeah.
I hope it is too, because I don't really like Link's Awakening, which I've talked about before. I don't like the Game Boy game, and the remaster of it. Well, also the remaster didn't run great on Switch. It had some frame rate issues and all that. So yeah, there was.
I liked it a lot. I had no issues with it. I think I maybe remember a few instances of slowdown or whatever, but the game just looks so damn beautiful, and I'm glad that they're reusing it. I look forward to playing the same engine in this new game.
I just hope it runs better. I'm just telling. I'm just saying. I hope it runs better in the overworld because, yeah, I don't know why they didn't ever patch that. That's kind of like, what the fuck, guys? What are you gonna say, Shake?
I watched an IGN preview today, and they said it actually does run much better than the previous game.
Oh, okay.
So in general, the performance is definitely better.
Cool.
Far less hiccups. They didn't say like it was perfect, but it was a smooth experience overall.
Nice. I do wonder how far I got in Link's Awakening. Like, I thought I was pretty close to the end, so I could just like poke around and see what I have left. I never beat the Game Boy one either. I always hated the way the overworld was set up, but I've said that a bunch of times on our Patreon episodes and all that. But
I mean,
You beat that one in a
was
day.
yeah,
what was that?
maybe. Well, I was going to say, of course, it was because it needed to be to all fit.
No, I understand,
It's
but
small.
I understand it needed to be a certain way, but that doesn't make it fun. For
No, it
me,
doesn't.
It just makes it irritating for me. That's why.
And this
why I
one,
don't
you
like
can
it.
just build a bunch of beds and climb them.
That's true. Yeah, you can build a ton of beds and climb them. I just hope that your weapons don't break, and you know, and the story isn't completely disjointed because because there's different parts that happen at different times or whatever, like the Tears of the Kingdom thing, or where it's all where nothing is in a certain order, so it's always has to tell you the same thing over and over and over and over again every time you go to see a thing. But I'm excited for it. I put Earth Defense Force on here, World Brothers 2, just because you said you were kind of interested in it, John, and it's coming out on the same day as
Never
Echoes
did
of
the
Wisdom
series.
for $40.
I will not be buying it.
Just to pump up the list here. And the next one that I'm actually really interested in, but I can't see myself getting it for full price, but Reynatus, or however you pronounce that, that's a Falcom game, and it kind of looks sort of like an Ys type game. So I'm definitely interested in that. I've heard a lot of great preview stuff from a while ago because I think it's been out in Japan for a time. But that's coming out for $60. There is a demo for it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. We even got some responses on our show a couple episodes ago of people talking about it. But yeah, that one's definitely up there for me. But I can't see myself paying full price for it. And last of the list, and I only put this on here just because it's got a weird release date thing. The EA Sports FC 25, whatever it is, the soccer game, football game. So,
Club.
Is it football club? Is that what it is?
Mhm.
I'm just guessing.
Or foot club? I don't know. So that's coming out on the 27th. So you can buy it at the 27th for $60. But if you buy the extra super Big Bang version for $80, you can play it a week early. And I always kind of find that sort of annoying, where it's like, hey, pay like twice or three times the price of this game and you'll get it a week early. They did the same thing with fucking Mortal Kombat 1 when they released it for like $120 on Switch. I was like, come on, guys. That's not fair. I mean, that's just mean. Especially the Switch
It's a better
version.
story.
For like
Yeah, but this
$120 for a week early.
But
Especially if someone was buying it as a gift and they thought that was the only way they could get it for somebody.
here's the difference. This is an annualized soccer game. I mean, these things only come around every so often. I mean, if you're just chomping at the bit to play the latest annualized soccer game, and you can finally get it for a week early, pay your $20 more. Oh, great!
For sure.
I say that with all kinds
Still
of
a really long 51 weeks either way.
That is, I just hate the fact that EA has recycled that game since 2017 every year. So for the last 7 years, most recently, they've actually used the Frostbite engine on Switch, although they said the Switch was incapable of running the engine. But even though it's now on the Frostbite engine, they're still just porting over the game they did the previous year. So it's like no modern gen, current gen updates, anything. It's just roster updates. And I'm just like, it's crazy that they charge full price for this.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's a big release month for September. Like I said, my games, I already got Bakeru. I'm definitely getting Marvel vs. Capcom, and I'm getting Echoes of Wisdom. What do you guys think? What are you getting from this list?
Gimmick and Echoes.
Gimmick and Echoes. Are you getting anything aside from Marvel, Shake?
I'm definitely what I did was Best Buy had their buy two get one again because I love that. So I had pre-ordered Brothership, echoes and the physical of Marvel versus Capcom. I do plan on getting Plucky Squire. I'm very interested in Bakeru. I love the art style. Like I'm a sucker for cell shading. I'm a sucker for old school like 3D action platformers. So I haven't played the demo of that, but super interested in that. Um, and the other game that I don't know if you guys talked about it last month, but what is it? Shadow of the Ninja Reborn.
Oh yeah,
I just saw that.
we
Yeah.
haven't mentioned that one yet. No, what is that one?
It is, well, I don't know much about it, but apparently Shadow of the Ninja was a very late NES game that came out like in 91, I think. And this is a 16-bit remake of that game from the original team.
Okay.
But the pixel art looks incredible. I actually saw a mini doc that the company did on just the making of it. It was on YouTube. It's about like 15 minutes. Really interesting. I went down a rabbit hole, started looking at a bunch of previews for it. Again, it's one of those games where everyone is just like, the game's amazing. Digital Foundry even did like an early preview on it. And everyone's just kind of saying like it's what you would want from an old school remake, and the pixel art is just gorgeous. It looks like, like I feel like there are certain games that when they are remakes, they become what you remember the game as. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
game was, and I think this game just based on the previews kind of realizes the original vision for the NES game. So I'm super excited. I want to try it out. I know there's a demo.
Oh yeah, there
And
is.
it came
Yeah.
yeah. And it came out at the tail end of the month. So like I think it's getting lost in all of the hype of everything happening in September. But I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, it looks good. I was just looking at the pictures on the Nintendo on the eShop website, and it looks real good. Yeah, it's $20. It came out last week, but yeah, kind of like I mean myself when I was making like the list of like releases, I kind of skipped over it too because I didn't really know what it was. But the pixel art definitely does look cool, and it looks like it's multiplayer as well, not online, but you could play 2-player local. So cool.
And I just want to say this, John. I agree with you about the Karate Kid game. Like I'm interested in it, but it's like $40 to me at this point is too much for a beat 'em up. Not when
Yep.
you can get, Streets of Rage 4, Shredder's Revenge. Honestly, that's the reason why I never pulled the trigger on whatchamacallit, River City Girls 2. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend 40
It was
bucks.
too much.
Oh yeah, it was pretty high. Yeah.
I think all the great ones, have released around 25.
Yep.
Streets Rage 4, the Ninja Turtles one, a couple others. 25 seems to be a sweet spot for a great beat 'em up these days. Unless you're really doing something different and you're making it like a 40-hour game or something like that. I just can't really see $40 on that.
Yeah, a lot of times the sweet spot for me, if it's like $20 or less, then I can. There's a good chance I'll get it. That's a good like impulse buy level for me for a lot of these indies. When it's like 30, I'll be like, I don't know,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So, but as far as Bakeru goes, you mentioned that you're interested in it. Yeah, definitely check out the demo. There's an English demo and a Japanese demo. I don't know if you have a Japanese account, but you can download. The Japanese demo is actually longer than the American one, but the American one shows you more different levels because there's like a dog fighting Star Fox level, and there's also like a robot punching level too. That's really cool. Like that's one of my favorite, where you get into a giant robot and punch another robot, and you're on a giant city and you can knock buildings down and all that. So I'm excited to see more of that stuff. But yeah, so far I really like it because I love those Mystical Ninja games, and it kind of reminds me of those, even though it's not exactly that. But I'll do what I can to support it because I really want. I mean, I know it's more of a Konami thing, but I really want a fucking Mystical Ninja collection. Like I want them to release. I mean, I have the Japanese games, but translate them and release those Super Famicom games because they're really good. Put that shit out there, or at least let us play the very much underrated the 64 game, both of the 64 games, and put those songs back in the second one, like the intros and outros and all that. So that's what I say about Mystical Ninja. What do we got on the news here?
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Aside from the releases.
Well, I should take off pretty soon, but I just wanted to do one.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say we're almost done. All we got to do is do the rest of the news. So if you want to
this is just the one that I want to do is this kind of random one, which I haven't heard much about other than from the source. The article came from Time Extension, and it's that there was once a TV series made exclusively for viewing on the Dreamcast, and it's now available on GitHub. I had no idea this ever happened. This was cool when I saw this, and since we mentioned Dreamcast at the top of the show, I want to make sure to mention this. The show is Japanese show is called Grauen no Torikago, which translates to Birdcage of Horrors. And I'll quote from the article. Basically, it isn't a game, as you may expect, but a Japan-exclusive murder mystery horror, or IDRA, as they called it. That's I-DRA, short for Internet Drama, from Sega and ASCII Entertainment that was available as part of Dreamcast Direct's online service. And now it has received a brand new fan translation courtesy of a modder named Derek Pascarella and the group of translators and transcribers, including Anonymous, T-Chan, and Wallet. This series was distributed on 6 GD-ROM discs representing chapters and it was presented as 365 one-minute episodes. As Pascarella explains, each episode would become accessible gradually over the course of a year from 1999 to 2000, and would also require players to complete the previous chapters before downloading special save files from the internet to their VMU to unlock the new episodes. Wow. This new patch, however, treats the six discs as standalone pieces of software. And he also says that the team behind the project has translated each episode as well as bonus interview content, so it's now possible for Western Dreamcast enthusiasts to dig into this unusual release. And you can download it now via his GitHub page, or you can go to his website. His name is Derek Pascarella, and the show, again, was called the Grauen no Torikago, again, Birdcage of Horrors. I thought that was fascinating. I never knew there was a show on Dreamcast, and it just showed to me how forward-thinking Sega was at the time. I mean, really, Sega was a real pioneer in many aspects, and that range from like 93 to 2000. They really tried a lot of interesting things, including basically, you might say they were like among the first alternatives to traditional TV viewing in this regard.
For sure.
I wonder if they're on YouTube.
I'm sure. I would think there'd be something out there, right?
I thought that.
It seems like the next step, like if someo's gone through all this, like it's cool to, right? It seems cool, but like if you
got to archive it in some way, right? Or at least put it out so somebody can see it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean,
it's not interactive, cool. Right?
It's not interactive, but you'd have to. I guess you'd have to watch each episode, and then each episode would unlock the next one, so you couldn't just like watch it as a streaming, a continuous movie or whatever.
Yeah, but somebody could record it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, they could.
Somebody could record it.
And that's a 6-hour movie.
Yeah, or put parts of it or whatever on there. But I mean, if you need to go, John, we can just wrap it up because there's nothing else really on here that I need to talk about news.
I mean, I guess one more thing which is kind of big, which just hit earlier this afternoon. The trailer for the Minecraft movie. Jeremy, your thoughts?
Oh yeah,
I watched it.
I guess we talked about it for a minute. I have not. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I don't know. As a Minecraft fan, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I am a Minecraft fan, but I don't have any sort of like. It's not like other games where I'm like so attached to it that I think they're going to ruin it. Like, I don't know how anyone could possibly ruin Minecraft. They're just going to make a movie with Minecraft elements, but it's not going to disappoint me. It's not going to fuck up the story, what I mean? Like,
I would say there is no story in Minecraft, right? Or is there?
No, not really.
I thought you just create your own story.
Notch wrote an ending for the 1.0 release, whatever it came out like 2011 or whatever that was. There was an actual ending put in the game, but there wasn't a story before that.
Yeah, I mean, the only Minecraft I did, I played it with Jeremy, but it's very, it wasn't really I mean, maybe there's some lore outside of the world and why you're getting hunted by these zombie people or whatever, and why you have to build.
I think it's going to be like a Jumanji type goofy, like maybe
it's very like Jumanji. Yep.
And then obviously they're kind of going to treat the farm animals as the like minion characters or whatever. They're like the comedic relief because they were really leading into how goofy the faces are on the sheep and the llamas. in the trailer.
Yep.
So
will
I
say
don't know,
this-
whatever. It looks cute, like it's got Jason Momoa in it for some reason. That's a little weirder than Jack Black. But I'll probably watch it. Probably not in theaters, but I'll check it out at some point just to see a Minecraft movie. I've been interested in that since it came out. Since the game came out. Like, how would you make this to a movie? Obviously, they're going to because you got to milk everything for all it's worth.
Right.
And I'm actually surprised it took this long for there to be a Minecraft movie and not at least like a Minecraft kid show or something like that, a la Reboot or whatever.
Did you get to watch the trailer, Shake?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've seen like a couple of clips with the square-headed sheep or lamb
Uh-huh.
or whatever it was, a llama. I don't know what I was looking at.
There's a lot of. They've got I don't know. It's the kids are gonna love it. They're gonna be laughing their asses off looking at the sheep faces, and that's what this movie's gonna be all about. It's gonna be like Mario movie, except I don't think as many people are gonna be pissed because people don't have that same nostalgia for Minecraft.
Investment, yeah.
I mean, there might be some people out there, but
Most of the Minecraft fan crowd is like, I mean, the OGs would be like in their teenage years, most of them.
probably like
Right.
my early 20s, or
Yeah.
going to college. Because my coworker's son started college last year, and I remember, I mean, whatever. I knew the kid since he was younger, and he was really into Minecraft as a little kid. Now he's in college, so it's definitely been around out long enough that there might be some pissed off college kids if the movie's bad, but it's not going to be like 50-year-olds mad about it like the Mario movie.
Those heads aren't square enough. They didn't capture the way they looked in the game. I mean, I don't know what would they be mad about.
Where's the
As a total-
C41 soundtrack or whatever the name of the guy is?
As a total non-fan of Minecraft, I thought it actually looked like a pretty good looking movie. I just mean visually. I don't know about the quality of the movie,
Sure.
but not knowing what I was watching, because actually the first moment that I saw it, it was an ad. I didn't like queue up the Minecraft movie trailers. Just I watched some of their video, and then this Minecraft trailer started playing, and it was the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour, and it was like slowly opening up on something. Didn't know what you were looking at. I almost thought at first it was like watching it from a distance. I thought it was like maybe a travel ad for India or something, like because it just looked very colorful and and then it was the Beatles, Magical Mystery Tour, famously influenced by their trip to India and all that. 5-10 seconds in, I thought, oh wait, but this is actually the Minecraft movie. So I was first struck by how like good looking and bright and colorful it was. So that it is that going for it at the very least. Could be interesting.
Wouldn't it be funny if it like won an Oscar or something?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, sure.
I doubt it.
If it just ends up being like this classic piece of film someday.
It's technical marvel.
Yeah.
I think it's directed by Rob McElhenney, which I know it was supposed to be at one point. From
No, it's the
who's it now?
It's the Jared, what's his face that did Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre.
Oh, Hesh.
Yeah. So that gives it the possibility to have the right kind of weird goofy that I might like,
Okay.
Because I know Nacho Libre is not everyone's favorite movie. I thought it was hilarious. It cracked me up when I saw it. Yeah, it probably didn't age well. I don't even think at the time some of it was very good, like as far as like him, Jack Black being a Mexican guy or whatever. But it was still hilarious.
I thought it was. I don't know. It was okay. There were some really annoying parts in it, in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite in a long time either. Like that one's probably got some weird shit to it.
It's part of the humor.
Oh, I love Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah,
I liked it better than Nacho Libre, but I mean,
it's way better than Nacho Libre.
Yeah, but I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite since college, and that was like 20 years ago. So I mean,
I watched it somewhat recently, within the last few years, with like nieces and nephews or something. I can't even remember, but it's fine. I don't think it didn't hit as hard as it did in college, but it's still hilarious. It also, wasn't surprising me like the first time I watched it, which was part of the joy of that film. Just it was so weird, you didn't know what to expect next.
So the Minecraft thing is coming out next year, then, right? 2025 is coming out this year.
Maybe we should. Okay, maybe we should mention two more. One's real quick, and the other one maybe will open up a debate. But
Okay. Oh, yeah.
the first one, Nintendo subsidiary, they changed their name from what was it, ND Cube to Nintendo Cube Co., which I thought was fascinating. Like, did this subsidiary come around? Like, I think they were founded in 2002, which would mean GameCube era. So they're like, maybe their name comes from the GameCube, but then you go and rename your subsidiary in 2024, and you still stick with the Cube idea. I wonder what this is about.
Yeah, it's like they're working on. Are they working on the new Mario Party, or they did other Mario parties, something like that?
They did Mario parties. Yep. I just thought the name choice was strange. 20 years on, renaming it and still calling it Cube.
Yeah, it's such a, I don't know. It's kind of such a silly news thing. It's like ND Cube is now called Nintendo Cube. It's like, okay, not a whole lot happening right now. I mean, but there is, because September is a crazy release month. But whatever.
Now the last news bit. What do you think about the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom being a part of a new timeline, a whole new timeline?
Don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hated the timeline thing when they first announced it. Like, I mean, I never was into the whole Hyrule history or whatever. I was never like, oh man, I wish everything would connect, all these games. Like, I never cared. It was all just like, this is the new Link guy, Or you could pretend it's the same Link guy. Who cares? They're all different games. Like, they're all self-contained. Like, stop trying to
the only thing
connect
I found
everything.
Compelling, right? The only thing I found compelling was the timeline split in Ocarina of Time. Like, that was cool.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Everything else, I just kind of like, I don't care that much.
It always felt like they're doing their work backward. I mean, like they're coming up with
absolutely
first, and then they're like, oh, how can we squeeze this into something that will appease the people who want this to make sense?
I mean, there were some games that were specifically made like for the timeline. Like Skyward Sword was like, all right, this is the first one.
Well, that's where it all this shit started.
But also, like, I like that Wind Waker was like a was like a post-apocalyptic event. Where like the whole all of Hyrule was flooded, but that was probably possibly the Hyrule of Ocarina of Time or whatever. Like I like that sort of thing, but I don't think everything needs to connect. Like it can be different. It's fine. It can be different. We don't need multiverses for everything. Like, come on. Like, I feel like they've ruined that in many ways.
The GameCube Zelda was where Miyamoto said there's been different Links and Zeldas. And that was kind of, I was fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
And in the same breath, he said Mario is 35. Like, he just like throws down these random things that like rock everybody's perception of these beloved worlds.
I mean, 35 is a good age for Mario. Did you think he was younger or older than that? Like, what do you think? What do you think? He's like 26 or something?
I've always kind of thought in his 40s.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, didn't he say he was 25? I think I'm wrong.
I think it's because
I don't know.
It's got to be because of, or what's his name? I almost said Lou Ferrigno. No, the other guy, the Mario guy, that the wrestler.
Lou Albano.
Lou Albano.
Lou Albano. Yes,
Captain
yes, Lou Albano.
Yeah.
I think that's my first association with Mario in popular media, well, other than the cartoon, but
I mean,
itself,
Captain Lou was like the only Mario actor that was actually Italian, though. So there's that. I mean, he's actually born in Italy.
That's how I think of Mario. In my head, is Lou Albano.
That should be, yeah, because Lou's cool. His friendship with Cyndi Lauper was the whole reason that WrestleMania became popular. It's like what I heard, WrestleMania 1.
That they did that Goonies video.
But she helped bring popularity to wrestling, like in the before the pay-per-views and all that. Right? Am I right, Shake? You know more about this than I do.
Yep, absolutely. It was Captain Lou, and I think they met on an airplane.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember he was in the Girls Just Want to Have Fun video, the music video. But I knew they were pretty close, and I guess from what I heard, she had helped bring a lot of eyes to WrestleMania 1, to get people more interested in wrestling. And
damn, Cindy, you did a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, I always thought she was cool, but yeah, there's extra stuff there. Her and Lou trying to bring people to watch professional wrestling and all that. So that's great.
I thought the timeline discussion would bring a debate, but it just brought us straight back to wrestling.
Well, yeah. I mean, I yeah, I really don't care about the timeline. Like seriously, they're all games. They're all video games. Like they don't have to exist together, and not everything has to connect. Like I said, what do you? I mean, do you care at all, Shake, about the Zelda timelines and everything coming together and all
Not
that?
at all. Not one bit. I have always gone on just the premise that each Link is a new iteration, new version of Link, and I just have fun with the game. Half the time, I'm not even really that caught up in the story.
It's like you're not really thinking about it. You're just having a fun time going through the dungeons or whatever. You're not like, oh man, I wonder how this Link relates to the Minish Cap Link or whatever. You know, like it's like I don't think about that shit.
And I'll just say this. I think that it's a design philosophy that to me is the difference between Nintendo and most other game makers. Like gameplay takes precedent over narrative. And I think even when we're seeing the discourse happen with AAA gaming and why these games are not, it's because they're so focused on narrative and not gameplay. Like the reality is like, I'm not saying a compelling story isn't gonna make a game better, but like at the end of the day, like we're not paying for interactive movies.
Oh,
you know, and I think Nintendo always gets that. Like, so, you know, not to say that stories don't matter. Like, I was super invested in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, towards the end, I was like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean?
Still beat it.
No spoiler. Yeah, no spoilers.
Best ending of a Zelda game.
I say, did you beat it? Because will that be half the show beat it, half didn't? As John and I didn't beat it, and John's been trying to beat it. I have not. I stopped playing it when AW Fight Forever came out. So, you know, around that time.
I agree with Jeremy. Absolutely one of the best endings you will experience in a game. Super cool. But the point is that like, even if the story was disjointed and it's like, it felt like a moment where, you know, like everything that you've done culminates to this moment. So this is what you expect in a final boss battle. But yeah, man, like for me, I don't care. Like if the game is fun,
it's not a big
if
deal.
there are some story beats that I follow that I think are cool, fantastic. But you know, I look forward to playing as Link and knowing that he's gonna fight Ganon or Ganondorf or
whatever, yeah.
Calamity Ganon.
Ganarino.
Exactly. Like
I mean in my elder gaming life or whatever. No, I felt that I'm more interested in gameplay than story actually, for the most part, in most games. Like when we got Peglin and it's like Peglin's an RPG, I was like, man, I hope it doesn't have a really big opening. And it doesn't. It just goes right into it. But I feel like I've found myself more interested in gameplay than story. So, you know, that's kind of what brings me. That's why I play fighting games all the time. No story.
Well, I think, you know, the big cultural shift in gaming from like indies almost being like more important than AAAs. Well, they probably are. Like in indies, a good indie is usually a tight gameplay experience, like not a visual novel. Like there are visual novels, there's some good ones.
I'll say there's a lot of indie visual novels out there, and those are kind of making a comeback too.
But the day of the AAA game that's trying to look like a movie is, I mean, there's not much of those left really.
Well, it also it costs a lot of money, and it needs to be a guaranteed seller, so it's kind of hard to do a lot of that stuff. Even though some people are still trying, but
I mean, I know why, but there was a period of time where that was what everyone thought needed to be done, and the money and the funding was there for it. So it's been dropped by most big companies now.
For sure.
In some regards, I don't know that it's been dropped. I think that's like, so for example, my PS5 is legitimately collecting dust. I bought it earlier this year. I'm like 3.5 years into the console life cycle. I don't feel like there's anything that is a generational showpiece that I can't play on PS4 or Xbox One, right? And like when I look at the PS5, I'm sitting here and it's like the new titles or the big titles that come out are so few and far between. And I think it's because like companies are still so focused on pushing these super high fidelity narrative based games, and it's taken them like 7 years to get one out the gate. Like versus Nintendo
Yeah.
having these, like, it's crazy. Like, to me, it's absolutely nuts that and it's not just being a Nintendo fanboy, but the fact that like there's a new Zelda game, to your point, that's coming out a year after Tears of the Kingdom, and that there's Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm like,
I'm so excited for that game.
Yeah.
Brothership.
I have stuff to play.
Even like the 30
Like,
seconds of new footage, I was like, give it to me. No, I think it looks great. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so for me, it's pretty weird, man. Like, the only thing I'm looking forward to right now that's current gen is actually Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh yeah, that looks good too.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope you play Monster Hunter on your PS5 because that shit looks fire.
I was trying to think of a generational showpiece shaking, like, because I mean, I have a PS5, but like the things that are popping in my head, I guess you can play, because even Cyberpunk, they fixed it to where you can play it for the most part on PS4 now, right? Even like the Phantom Liberty expansion.
Yeah, the only thing I would think, like, for the most part, is what, like Final Fantasy 16 and like Rebirth, which I guess Rebirth is coming to PC now, but also these games didn't sell. Like they put all this money and people in these games, and they didn't sell. You know, same thing like SquareSoft is having a hard time because they put a ton of money into these games, and that's what I was talking about. These big ones that it needs to be a guaranteed seller, otherwise you're losing money. So it's kind of hard to do like stuff of that scale, you know. And also they take forever, and also it's like people don't really care that much about graphics, obviously, because the Switch is doing great, and it's like how many like generations behind PS4 even last generation, you know. So it's like,
and think about every time you play a game with great graphics, like, not to say you don't appreciate it the whole time you're playing, but
it looks bad in a couple months.
It's very quick that you're not paying attention to the graphics anymore. You're just paying attention to the gameplay. Like, you're not
Sure.
like, ooh, look at that vista over that hill. Like, you're like, I'm just trying to stab this dude, you know? You kind of like, I guess maybe you take it for granted. It's kind of what happens, but it happens very quickly for me. You know, when I was playing Elden Ring with the shaders and everything, I was like, ooh, you know, once I boot it up on the PS5, I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. And it's a beautiful game. But I mean, 10 minutes into it, I'm trying not to die over and over again.
Sure, yeah. That's the way it goes. I wish that, yeah. I think we're good. I think we're good to wrap up, right? Everybody got all the new stuff in there. Shake, tell everybody where to find you on the internet and whatnot.
Oh man, you can find me on Wagglefest, or on YouTube. That is the channel, and I will finally be making new content after a 6-7 month sabbatical. I have some new stuff coming this week.
Cool.
Oh, this nice.
Finally,
I've been waiting. I know I gave you a hard time about it. I'm still waiting for that Claudio Castagnoli move video from AW5 Forever. Make it happen.
Exactly like that. There's all sorts of stuff coming, but I will be doing an AEW postmortem, so that'll probably come either this week or next week. But I have some other videos I want to talk about.
You should do some Street Fighter stuff, since you've been playing a lot of that. Like, do some I don't know. I've been watching a lot of like mostly like a lot of how-to leverless controller videos and stuff like that. But there's a lot of like fighting game community how-to videos out there. I'm sure you could get some good traction for that, some good viewers, you know.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I don't know that I'm that good, but I'll definitely consider it, especially when MVC2 comes out. But yeah, and also you can find me on X, Twitter at Wagglefest. But I plan on making content more consistently again. So, as always, thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate
Definitely, yeah,
being a NintenDomainer.
It's always fun to talk to you on here, and I promise to not wait as long this next time before you have you again. And those months just kind of you lose them after a while. It's like, oh yeah, but no, yeah, it's great to have you on here, and always good to talk to you. And if you like hearing Shake, watch our Twitch stream, which happens every Monday, and you're there for most of the time, and a lot of times we talk about our issues with AEW Fight Forever, but we have some good Street Fighter stuff, and we're definitely gonna have some good Marvel versus collection stuff when that comes out next week. So I thought about maybe even trying to do one early since it happens like next week on Thursday or whatever. But yeah, definitely. And you can find us, or you can find me on X at Nintendo_domain, at Jeremy JMaxStack. You can find us on Blue Sky at just NintenDomain. Or if you want to, send us messages or whatever, go to the Facebook community. Just look up NintenDomain. You can find it all over the place. And also go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. And you can find all of our bonus episodes. I just put up our top 10 Nintendo 64 game ranking episode. That's up there now. And I just did the WART radio for, what was it, episode 429 through 33 or something like that. Plus the soundtrack for the 64 episode. So if you like all the intro and outro music that we do, that we put on the episodes, give us $5 a month and listen to those WART radio episodes where I put together a playlist of all the intros and outros and stuff. I was listening to it while I was mowing the lawn today. It was great. Check that out. But we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
I'm Jay McCaskey.
John Litter.
And our special guest,
Shakespearean.
Shakespearean.
Nice.
Shakespearean.
Nice. And thanks for joining. And thanks everybody for listening. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.